anything to do. Okay, so it's on the map now. So what do you want to come of it? He needs to, and I'm very grateful he's focused on us, and I want to thank all the Americans for this. He needs to force the ANC to reverse these racial laws. Do you know that most African countries have Starlink? Elon Musk Starlink. We don't, because we have a law that every business in South Africa has to have 30% black ownership. And Elon Musk said, I'm not handing over 30% because I have to. We don't have to.
That's what it's all about. That's the benefit of Elon. He could bring white supremacy back to South Africa. ANC been fighting for that for so long. Way before Nelson Mandela and them. That's why Nelson Mandela was even in prison in the first place. Nelson Mandela didn't commit crimes. These people, that's what all these African movements, if you ever read Nelson Mandela autobiography, which is a great autobiography. That was the second autobiography I ever read, next to Stalin. But the thing is, when it came to Nelson Mandela, they had all these different groups that used to be up under the radar. Actually, the whole prison movement, where the prison was so bad that they try to extort people mentally. They try to put them under pressure mentally, so they couldn't be able to gather, group, communicate, be able to plan in advance. They needed Nelson Mandela. He was a significant key. It ain't like he just did his time and got out. They buried him. He tried, the prisons that he was at was like hard labor. Even at his age that he was at. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people say, oh, well, he set up, he worked with the government, whatever the case may be. But my thing is this, when you talk about the ANC, whatever the case may be, they try so hard to keep white supremacy out of South Africa. And that's the point that I'm making. Elon Musk know, as him working hand in hand with Trump, those are favors that's getting scratched off. It's obvious. It's not a worldly thing. And that's the thing where I'm at with it, because we should be focused on the most important things that as Americans, or where we stand at today, to focus on. To say, this is what will make our country better. Not saying, well, you do me this favor, I do you this favor. So you go and extort, you know what I'm saying, somebody for your homie because you got more guns and more power than him. But all this is go backfire because people making backdoor plans and moves. And the thing is, Elon Musk has not been all the way truthful. If you, like these just said, take 30%. You think Elon Musk want to lose 30% of his money to a black man? You think he want to make a black man a trillionaire overnight without the success or work for it or whatever the case may be? Them white Africans over there in South Africa, man, they over there, they struggling. And that's what it sound like when you deal with white people that deal with black people issues in America, and they say, oh, it ain't no big deal. It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't see what black people crying about. I don't see what they crying about. But when you hear it from a white perspective, you can't imagine it. But now you is.
Loaded gun in the bedroom with kids running around. At some point, somebody's going to pull the trigger. And that's what this law is. And there's so many other laws in South Africa that are anti-white, race-based, and make it almost impossible for businesses to thrive. But worst of all, we're at less than 1% economic growth. Less than 1%. And we have the highest unemployment in the world. Oh, that's 40%. 40%. It's unsustainable. And the only way to reverse that is to have, a complete change of plan. We need a Malay. So we need to have your Malay or a Trump. So when you see...
Wow. See, they need Trump. They need Trump so bad where white supremacy is dying off. When you talk about the scramble of Africa, yeah, they scrambled that egg, all right. man, is no more eating from the core. They trying to kick out the French as much as they can. And I think literature and language arts about to be, a big thing in Africa where they about to actually change their languages. They about to go back to their native tribal languages instead of the French language. That's where I think it's getting deep to that degree. And my thing is this, that presidential meeting where it came to Trump and the South Africa president, it wasn't about, the he thought it was about building alliances, which I don't see how, because when you setting up bricks and trying to destroy the American currency, you're a natural enemy in the first place. So what more is to talk about besides energy? And Trump letting him know, hey man, I could press one button and I could take your futuristic mind frame from going to the Jetsons all the way back to the Flintstone ages. I could do that with one button. I could shut down this power grid and everybody go back without cell phones. Everybody be blind to the fact of remembering numbers in your head, back to VCRs and, Ataris and, handheld, things of that nature, what I'm trying to say. It will go back. And people not ready for that. The world is not ready for that. But Africa could withstand that because the world need them. And that's true. We could all live, and that's one thing what I am going to say though, right? This situation that's going on with the world, I'm speaking on it from a general perspective. I'm speaking on it from a perspective where I'm not telling you what to do. You take this productive information and utilize it the best way you know how. I'm not your guidance. I don't know how your mental set or what you could withstand. But the only thing I'm saying, things about to go to a higher level. The president of Ukraine had already said it. He said, yeah, well, Trump cut him off. Oh yeah, y'all gonna see what, you got coming in there. Oh, you worry about your own, whatever the case may be. Trump already know. You talking about the golden age of America. You got to go through a dark age first before you could go to a golden age. If you know history, then you know. The only way you could see a golden age if you go through a dark age. That's what I'm saying. One press of a button could take everything back. And y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all too much in y'all phones. Even people from, you got people that's 35, 40, 50 years old. They don't even talk no more. That's all they do is text. Communication gone within a generation that learn how to communicate with learning information by thinking with numbers in their head. But that whole meeting that Trump now had was supposed to be about energy. It's supposed to be about gold and platinum. If you look at the ratio of platinum and gold, it's 2-to-1, almost 3-to-1 now. They suppressing platinum so much. Why? Because BRICS. Because they natural enemies. If we go into more futuristic stages, we need platinum. We need silver. We need palladium. But America lacks that. Maybe go to Alaska, whatever the case may be, but then it's gonna be a war with Russia, because the thing is, you got the further you go, because Russia is plentiful with it. It's plentiful with it. So they creating bricks amongst one another. You see what I'm saying? To try to get more futuristic. But Trump let him know that we could go backwards if you plan on trying to increase the price of platinum and palladium and everything else like that. We want to stay fossil fuel, energy, whatever the case may be. We want to keep sucking out this oil out the ground. We ain't trying to move into a whole nother age. American shell companies and everything else, 95% of them went gone since Barack, I should say, the second term of Barack, all the way into now. It's probably like 95 to 98% of the United States shell companies has merged or just gone, period. It's a destruction of America where all these foreign companies is already capitalizing on the land, already capitalizing on all the farmland. United States don't even own most of the farmland. I got a video y'all should go check out. Like, it's called The Scramble of America. And you will see who all owns a part of America. America don't own America. You got the Netherlands, you got Germany, you got Ireland, you got Iran, you got oh my God, we could keep going on and on and on. We talk about the army bases that's inside of our country. Spain got an army base here, China got an army base here, Germany got an army base here, and it's their own little cities, their own little towns that we have, that highway it exit off into that we have that we can't even go to. Got their own armories and all of that. So how is you protecting a country when it's already foreign entities already set up that we can't even go to as Americans, that we have no entitlement or right to go in within our own country, let alone go to a whole nother country without legal documentation? Come on now. But this whole thing is about United States suppressing the price of platinum. So basically, South Africa need that platinum. They need the support of the world to be able to buy platinum, buy palladium, buy they silver. But the thing is, if we look in our markets, it's getting suppressed, where platinum used to be the highest status that you could go. Now, gold is the highest status now. You could buy 2 ounces of platinum now and still wouldn't amount to an ounce of gold, which is crazy. When 1 ounce of platinum, you get 2 ounces of gold easily. Times has really changed. And Elon using this electrical thing as a way to go, but he know it's trash, it's garbage compared to the other things that's out there. Where South Africa now, they got hydrogen trucks that's bigger than homes, that's actually going into mines, just straight hydrogen vehicles. And that's the future of things. It's hydrogen. But if they take that market right there, then the United States are doomed. We are doomed. We're not producing. We're not exporting enough goods to the world, because the United States is not built up on that. The United States is built up on commerce. If you look at your state, you will see incorporated. It's built up on commerce. So you can't look at this as a country. You have to look at yourself as a working class citizen to keep foreign entities into power. And they doing it off the backs of you. You the coal, you the fuel, you the energy. As everybody in America, yeah, we give you this easy lifestyle because you produce this for the world. If you want to come to America, then you can have the luxuries to be a high luxury slave. We give our slaves all the goods in the world to make them think that they own something and they could keep going. And that's the challenge, because Africa will bring people back to the sense. It's like biting the apple in the Garden of Eve. If you receive this, instead of the capitalistic society that you living in today, if you receive this right here, then basically you will be awakened. Instead, people rather stay in their fantasy and be sleep. But Africa is showing Asiatic, whatever y'all choose, black people, what a lot of people say, Black Foundation Americans, whatever y'all choose to call yourself. They awakening us. If you look at some of the presidents of some of the countries, the Kima Fossil, whatever, I can't pronounce it truly. I have to hear it again. Whatever the case, the same president that Trump going after, him, Trump is saying he's radical because he's sticking on principle. Because you know why? They moving like communists. They remind Trump of the Black Panther parties. And that's what Trump's scared of. He don't want us to be awakened by their movements and say we could construct the same way. You know, we could be able to build our own legacy just the way that they doing it. He looking at the same power structure. It was just in us in the 60s and the 70s. Some of our families are still alive to be around with Fred Hampton and Newey and all them others. So, you know, you have to realize in a click, in an instance, what's going on in America now, Black people or Asiatic people can trigger themselves to go right back into that mindset again. Trump trying to stop within all that because he don't want other African nations to be able to say, you know what, y'all French, get out of here. Because you got to think about it. French been eating for so long. You ain't heard nothing about French. You know, since the Queen passed away, that's why the world changed in the first place. That's why everybody building their own alliances now. You know, everybody picking sides right now. It's brainstorming right now. You know, you got your, Storming and Jordan, Norman, and all that. You know, it ain't Norman stage now. You see what I'm saying? It's a storming stage at this point where everybody's picking their sides right now because the Queen has died. So it gave everybody the option to go their own way. Some people go stay under the crown, and some people want to do it independently. Some people just want to build alliances and pray that they all get stronger one day and hope that, you know, their alliances don't trade on them, you know, or if they do, they have enough power to be able to withstand the fight. So that's where everybody at right now. You know, so we got to look at the point of saying, is United States really going to hold on to its power grid, or is it going to lose its dynasty to the worldly views? Because from Trump is building America, but America is not building America. The people is not building mentally, physically, or spiritually. Whites in America is not holding on to anything that's prominent. And this South African president, he might be wealthy, he might be vicious, but I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. He's no Idi Amin. Idi Amin was a powerhouse. And that's what Trump's scared of. This is a reflection of Idi Amin. The same way Idi Amin kicked out the Jews and the Indians, the same way that was going on in South Africa right now. And who is Elon Musk? He your Albert Einstein. He the guy that got the Nobel Peace Prize. He the guy that actually, you know, working against the atoms, right? What was the bomb that they had? You see what I'm saying? What they dealing with right now. Come on, man. It ain't about the vehicles that's being built. You know, Elon got these bullshit ass Tesla cars, but he know hydrogen will destroy the world. And they talk about bombs. A hydrogen, come on now. Hey, we talk about some real world dominant shit right now. We talk about platinum, palladium, South Africa, Russia, those places like that, they hold a lot of power. United States don't want us to advance. And I will say this, when I speak on these issues, it don't relate to me on a personal level at all. The reason I say it don't relate to me on a personal level, because me, I'm here to serve the creator will. So when it comes to these situations right here, it's for the worldly things. I'm not worldly. I speak, it do involve me as we as the people, as one, but on an individual level, it doesn't. Because if they shut down this whole power grid, I'm gonna find a way to be happy, swallow my tears and smile and be productive in life and live a life that's plentiful for me in the surroundings that I'm at, because it's important to be able to build your own. That's why you got people that of the world that care about and focus their whole life story on the news and all these other things. But you have other countries of people that separate themselves from the government and from the government fight and focus on the importance of life and survival. And they have wet markets and they created independent streams of income where they could get it together as a nation of people without the Walmarts and the relying on the governments and everything else like that. You know, the people of the nation did away with all the government and they relied upon themselves. So they started getting off in the wet markets and started creating their own industries. And that's what we have to do today. We have to start creating our own industries, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because if this government collapse, this government turn on you, this government make you a lower class slave than what you already is, at least you'll have the tools and the independence to be able to move forward, to create more for you and your surroundings, instead of settling for less and dying off by the wayside of the non-believers that's right behind that whole movements. Peace and prosperity to the world. Kalabunga.